Well, good morning, everyone. My name is MightyStream, and I'm going to do the January 20th just for today in a meditation. I'm in my famous office this morning, the bathroom in my hotel room, so my boys can sleep. Mm-mm-mm. Too early for this nonsense, huh? Okay, let's get into the meditation. All right, one promise, many gifts. Narcotics Anonymous offers only one promise, and that is freedom from active addiction. That comes from the basic text, page 106. Imagine how it might be if we arrived at the doors of Narcotics Anonymous, desperate, wanting to stop using drugs, only to be met by a sales pitch. If you just work the steps and don't use drugs, you'll get married, live in the suburbs, have 2.6 children, and start wearing polyester. You will become a responsible, productive member of society and be fit company for kings and presidents. You will be rich and have a dynamic career. Most of us read it with such a heavy-handed spiel would have shrieked and bolted for the door. Instead of high pressure nonsense and frightening predictions, we are greeted with a promise of hope, freedom from active addiction. We feel a blessed relief come over us when we hear that we never have to use drugs again. We aren't going to be forced to become anything. Of course, after some time in recovery, good things start happening in our lives. We are given gifts, spiritual gifts, material gifts, gifts that we've always dreamed of but never dared hope we get. These, however, are truly gifts. They are not promised to us just because we become NA members. All we are promised is freedom from active addiction. And it's more than enough. Just for today, I've been promised freedom from active addiction. The gifts I receive are the benefits of recovery. Let's take a moment of silence, followed by the we version of the Serenity Prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. What a powerful meditation. What a powerful meditation. I'm almost speechless. Just to be honest, let me sip my coffee here. I need these pistons to start firing this morning. Yeah, so I believe that meditation is powerful. And I believe that while I'm never intended to give a sales pitch to someone that is new, I probably have. And I just feel so bad. I'm sitting here thinking, why today? I don't have time for this. I do not have time for this meditation today. I'm sitting here reading the first paragraph, thinking to myself, when you share MightyStream and you know it's a first step meeting, you need to be more balanced. You need to be more balanced. No, 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 right? I've never sat down with a newcomer and said, you know what? If you stay here, you can become a productive member of society and be fit for company for kings and presidents. No, I've never done that, but I'm sitting here thinking about how I share in first step meetings, right? And I believe I have not done the best job of carrying the NA message. which, involves not just the message, but the promise that it makes. Freedom from active addiction. I've carried the beauty, the love, I'm not a person that's really big on malicious style type sharing, even though I can get excited sometimes. I think that I have gotten to the point where I talk about all of the things that have happened and can happen, and that lost dreams awaken and new possibilities arise. And I'm just really beginning to wonder if that's just a little bit too much of a sales pitch, if that's more of it's the truth. Now, don't get me wrong, it's the truth, but it's not a promise that Narcotics Anonymous makes. And I want to make sure that the next time I have an opportunity to do this, that I actually am able to talk about my experience, strength, and hope from the point of view of getting clean and what that looked like, and then how I have benefited. And so kind of flip it. So in my 4 minute or 5 minute share, flip it and spend more time talking about the process, the level of surrender, the things that I've struggled with to stay. And then cut into, with a minute left or so, cut into the benefits of Narcotics Anonymous, I want to start doing that. I think that's important. And I think it's important for us to understand that these are gifts. All that other stuff that has come besides freedom from active addiction, they're like, the frosting on the cake and the cherry on top. It's a benefit. Many of us have gone on to start some amazing, and I do mean amazing businesses, agencies that help people in recovery. Many of us have done that. Many of us have started other things that we dreamed of in construction or landscaping or in politics. I have a loved one that is involved she's a commissioner in the city. It's just amazing what we can do clean. But all of that is a gift. It's not the promise. It's not the promise. The promise is freedom from active addiction. And to me, that's enough. When I talk about freedom from active addiction, to me, it means I start having choices. I have options on the table today. I'm not on my back trying to pay rent today, right? I have options. And it means a lot of other things. There's a level of responsibility that comes with that too. I don't get to use excuses for letting people down today. You know, oftentimes when I'm with my boys, someone asks me how old they are because they look so much older than they are. They're only 11 and 12. The 12-year-old just hit 6 foot. Let's start there. And his growth plate is barely at a 1, and he has to go to a 5. Let's start there, which means he's going to be very tall. And the younger one, he's average height. He is average height, but he is not average mind. I think he's a genius, actually. And so my conversations with them they're not basic conversations that an adult has with a child. Um, when I'm talking to them, I personally have to know my motive, my reasons, because these aren't children that I've taught to just accept anything. And I'm the fruit of that, right? I get to experience their reasoning, and I get to experience listening to them reason. And I need to make sure that when they're doing the things that I've asked them to do, which is to ask the right questions, and they're doing it with me, I don't get to, I personally don't believe I get to say, what are we talking to? Why are you asking me that? That's none of your business. Do what I tell you to do, right? Speak when spoken to, and don't interrupt me. Don't ever question me. I don't come across like that because I don't think that feeds their young spirit. It doesn't. But when I'm out and about with them and people approach us, they're usually attracted to the light that is within all of us together in our interaction, right? Can't tell you how many people have walked up to us and just said, you have a beautiful family. I've just been watching how you all interact with each other. You can tell that you guys are very cohesive, right? Meaning we're very much together, right? And that we get along. And so for me, that is a gift. Narcotics Anonymous did not promise me that I would go from, I want to say barren, right? Because I've had 2 forced abortions with a drug dealer, right? So I was very young, 16, and he was 37. You do the math. But behind that, I lost my ability to bear children. So before I even got started out the gate of real womanhood, before I even graduated, I had lost, without knowing it, I had lost my ability to bear children. And so a lot of my using was to deal with the depression and guilt and shame of being a woman that said from a very early age she would have 10 children. And so let's get into that. Let's unpack that. The using was to quell the sadness, but it really only increased because I would do things that caused me even more sadness. And so, about 9 years ago, nearly 9 years ago, I got to meet my nephew's children. And we brought them to our home. And he did the same thing that he was doing out there, but I ended up basically raising them, babysitting them rather, in my own home with them for years until it got to the point that I needed to actually get them legally so that I could give them the things that they needed, like medical attention. And so I ended up going into court to get them and become their legal guardian. Now, what does that say to me? That says to me that as a direct result of this promise from active addiction, this freedom from addiction, I was able to present myself in front of a very well-known hard judge in family court and make my case for why they should be legally given to me. I could not have done that using. I could not have done that. But they're not the promise. They're the gift because I was able to access the promise. Now, I don't want to, if you have to go, that's fine, right? I don't want to cap something that is this serious because someone doesn't have time to listen. You can listen to the abbreviated version anytime if you have to go and you're in a hurry. But, you know, when people approach me and they approach my family and we're out in public, I'm very, very mindful that they were given to me, gifts to me. And I'm also mindful that they are I would call them spiritual children, which is a lost dream, right? To have children, that was a lost dream. So I feel very fortunate, and I have a lot of gratitude because I've experienced the promise of freedom from addiction, and I have received so many gifts that have forever changed my life as a benefit of recovery. And I treat them like they're gifts. You ever give somebody something and they secretly don't even like it, but they take it? And they say, "Oh, thank you. That was so nice of you." As soon as they turn around, they tell their friend, I'm definitely putting this in the trash. Or they never use it, right? That family member, you spend all that money giving them something special for, an anniversary or birthday or Christmas. And come to find out, they don't even like it. They never use it, or they worship it, right? They worship it because it came from you, and they put it up on a shelf and it collects dust as a knickknack, but they worship it. You ever had that happen with a gift? The God of my understanding gives beautiful gifts, perfect gifts, and it would be very easy to worship those gifts. But instead, what MightyStream does is I honor. I honor the gift giver by taking good care of the gift and using it for its purpose. And now children are gifts. And the way that I do that is I raise them. I'm in their lives. I'm in their business. I'm in their rooms. I'm in their phones. I'm in their conversations. We have many gatherings first thing in the morning. A lot of times they're sitting in the background when I'm taping, especially if it's a hard morning. They'll sit there and listen. And when I get done, they start clapping. And I think to myself, what a beautiful family I've been given. A second chance at having children, you know? And I have far exceeded 10 children spiritually. I've got babies in other nations, and I've got spiritual daughters and sons that call me mom in Africa. I have such a spirit of gratitude. So I thank you for spending time with me this morning. You can probably tell I'm bored, huh? Oh, I'm not bored. I'm blessed. Yeah, I spent yesterday over at my dad's. Was able to put a little heat on the situation and get some things done, which also included a hospital bed. He needs a hospital bed. He shouldn't be falling out of the bed and everyone's asleep and he can't get up. So we have a bed that has protection, some rails and stuff. And so yesterday was a productive day, cleaning, moving things around, and making him more comfortable. Uh, I don't know what happened, but he got so happy to be spending time with me. I'm that other child, the first child from another state. And he just said, it's so nice to be able to just have this time with you. And I just hugged up on him, held him. He hurt his shoulder, his arm, and it was very hard for him to sit properly up. So I just told him, lean into me. I got big enough arms to hold you. And he did. Um, and from there, um, he asked me about some songs, some gospel songs. He used to sing with a group, right? So he asked me about some gospel songs, and I found them. and I was able to record him singing, guys. I'm talking about a whole gospel song. A couple, actually. He even tried to do the I Have a Dream speech. And he told me to tell my mother that he's reached the stage of life where the curtain is about to be drawn, and that she was a beautiful woman, and that he loves her. And he's so grateful that they had me. I'm telling you, he just warmed my spirit. Warmed my spirit. You guys, I love you so much. I'm gonna let you go now, okay? I will be doing the next meditation here soon, and it'll be much more brief. I guarantee you. It'll be much more brief. But I want for you to have a beautiful day on purpose. Please promise me you'll do that. You deserve it. And if you don't do it now, I don't know when you're gonna do it. Seize the day and make it beautiful for yourself and those around you. Even when you're dealing with situations, storms like this, we're going to pass through them. And we know that because we've passed through all of the other storms. We're still here listening to the podcast. So we have every reason to have faith. My name is MightyStream. I've enjoyed talking to you. Talk to you tomorrow.